Hey guys, John Engel here. Today we're going to do an oil change on a BMW Z4. But before we can do anything, we've got to clear out some space in the garage to work on it. Let's get started. Alright, we have the Z4 in the shop. Now we have to pop the hood, jack her up, start draining some oil. I've got everything that we need and I will show you all of that, but we're going to use Mobil 1 0W40. I've got a filter, some gloves, jack stands, and some jacks. So hopefully we've got everything that we need. The only tricky part I think about this process is going to be doing the reset of the maintenance indicator on the dash, which I'm not exactly sure how to do yet, but by the time we get to it, I'm sure I will have that all polished out. Let's get started. Alright, we've got the hood popped and we're ready to go. Kind of looking to assess the situation right here and to see where everything is. We've got our dipstick right here, so that makes it easy to check our oil level. We've got our oil fill cap right here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Now, this uses a drop-in filter, and it's right here, so I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to get that off to make sure that I can get that in. Everything looks like it's pretty easy to get to. A lot of BMW guys actually use the dipstick tube and suck the oil out so they don't actually have to go underneath the car. I don't have one of those, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'll jack it up, take the plug off, let it all drain out. Let's get started. The first thing that I want to do before I drain any oil is make sure that I can get this filter off. Now, I do not have a socket that's this size, and I'm sure that that is probably the preferred method of doing it, but I do have one of these, and it's a little strap that goes around the filter, and then you tighten it up, and oh, look at that. Now, that seems like that was on very loose, and I'm not sure if it says 25 newton meters of torque is what you're supposed to torque it to, but it was holding oil, not leaking, so I guess that's about as tight as we'll make it when we put it back on. This is good news. Quick note, if you're going to take this off and play with it, make sure you have something to put it in right away so that you don't get oil everywhere like I just did. Alrighty, so here it is, all our glory. We'll replace, well, I don't know if I have the rubber gaskets for that. I'm hoping those are still good. I do have a rubber gasket for here, which is good, and I've got a new filter, so we will get all of that replaced. Time to get this puppy up in the air and take a look underneath to see what it's going to take to get the oil out. The great thing about the Z4s is they have actual little jacking pucks underneath the sides of them, which makes it really easy to find a jack location. I'm going to go ahead and set her up under there and start to see if I can give her a lift. I wanted everyone to be able to see there's actually a puck under here. That's what the jack uses to raise the car. Really good design. Glad BMW put that on there. Now, I wanted to put a jack stand under here as well, so I did. It's right underneath this pinch weld, which runs all the way down the side of the car. I'm going to leave it on the jack, but in case the jack fails, the jack stand's under there just to prevent me from dying, which is always good. Alright, so underneath the car you can see that we have this great little windage tray, which I am so tired of taking all of these things off. This one looks like it has been beat to hell. It's been scraped, it's been cracked, it's got some bolts holding it up, some that are missing, so I guess the next thing to do is to take it off. Yay! Alright, so the windage tray, you probably don't need to take that off, and I spilt some oil when I was taking off the filter, so I had to clean up under here because I had oil. But spoiler alert, I think that the drain is actually under this little flap, which requires just a Phillips head screwdriver. Huh, look at that. I'm going to show you what we're looking at here. So right up in here, you can see right there is where we put our oil, or drain our oil. So yeah, I did a lot of work. It was good because I had to clean some of the oil that was on here because I spilled it from up top. So I had to take it off, right? I mean, that's what we're getting out of this, is I did it on purpose, not to show you that you don't need to do it. So just remember, little flap, take the oil. If you don't screw up and get oil down here, you don't have to take off the tray. So I guess I kind of owe it to BMW. They did think that one ahead. But for me, I've done a little bit of everything. Now that we have this little access panel open, it's very easy to stick a wrench on here. It's a 17mm socket. So there we go. Broke it loose. Get an oil drain pan under here. Good Lord, this thing's got more thread on it than I know what to do with. All right. Now we let it drain. After I did my last video, I noticed that some of my viewers made comments about me having the car jacked up and draining the oil at the same time. What I normally do is remove the jack stand and then lower down this side of the car. That way everything is nice and parallel and all the oil gets drained out. So even though I don't always show that, I want to make sure that everyone knows I do make sure that the oil pan is level while draining. That way all the old oil gets removed. Now that we have the oil draining, we might as well tackle the filter itself. So the first thing we want to do is remove the filter element, which comes off very easily. You want to just give it a visual inspection, make sure that you don't see any metal shavings or anything that looks abnormal. That looks good. The next thing that we want to do is it's got this little rubber seal on it, and we need to remove it. I like to just go all the way around, make sure it's not held up on anything, and then it just pulls off. Super simple. The one that it comes, or the replacement, comes with a new seal. And let's see, this one's a K&N. Comparison wise, looks about the same. Everything looks okay. This one was made in Korea. This one's made in China. Don't know if that means anything at all, but let's see if it fits on there. Sure does. There we go. I always like to hear a click. Even on these styles, it makes it so you know it's done right. Let's go ahead and open this up. Now in this bag, it actually comes with a new crush washer for our oil, which is very nice, and we'll use that when we put the new bolt back in. I'm just going to use some of this old oil, lubricate this up a little bit. I don't know if it's really needed on this, but it'll just help for a better seal. There we go. Now we're starting to get her where she needs to be. Awesome. Seal is on. Filter is in. This one's ready to go back in. Alrighty, I was able to put the drain plug back in. It's all tightened up, and I put everything back underneath the windage tray, and as well as the little access flap for the oil. Now I've got to remove the jack stand, lower her down, and everything is now buttoned up underneath. We will go underneath the hood and put more oil in, put the filter back in, then we're done with the mechanical side of it. First thing that I want to do underneath the hood is to replace this filter, so stick the center part back in the hole and turn it till it stops. You do want to torque this down to 25 Newton meters, which to me just means tight. I know that some people are really going to have some issues with that, but I'm going to use this great tool again. Let's see if I can just snug her down. Beautimous. That's looking good. On to adding oil. Now that we have the filter in, everything underneath buttoned up, we need to fill it back with oil, and that's really the last step under the hood. So we're going to use Mobil 1 0W40. There's a lot of different reviews out there on what to use. This was easily available for me. I use it on many cars. I had some left over, so this is what I'm going to be using. It is one of the approved brands and weights for the BMW, so I feel pretty safe with it. I like to call this the no funnel pour. I'm just that good. That was sarcasm, just in case anybody was wondering. I didn't want anyone to get mad at me for it. Well, that takes care of all the oil that we need for this car. Put the cap back on it. We'll just do a quick visual. Even though I haven't started it yet, I just want to make sure that there is showing some oil in here, which is always a good sign. Oh, that is beautiful golden oil right there. So we're all good under the hood. The next thing we have to do is reset the maintenance on the computer inside. All right, to reset the maintenance and service indicator, I was told that you have to hold the SR button down. So I'll do that. That comes on. Put the key into the ignition and turn it to the 1 position. So now it says reset. I let go, hold down for a second. Actually, I think it's 5 seconds. There we go. Press it. Oil service for 15,550 miles. And I think that's all that we have to do. Well, that buttons everything up. Oil change, service indicator light reset. No leaks, everything's how it should be. The oil level is perfect. I think overall it went really well, nothing crazy. It's pretty much a standard oil change. If you like my videos, make sure you hit the like button below. Make sure you subscribe and also leave me some comments. I think that takes care of it for today. I'm going to touch up some dirty spots underneath the hood just to make her look a little better. We'll catch you next time.